Hello everyone, good morning. Patricius Chuandono here. Today's topic is about interview. I'm going to give you some tips for interviewing people or interviewing a job applicant. So in interview, you usually want to know, you want to learn as much as possible the possible applicant that is applying for a job in your company. And I'm going to offer you just 4 questions that will effectively reveal what kind of person they are, what kind of a future employee he or she is. And so by the 4 questions, we are going to know the potential of this applicant. Okay, let's dive into my explanation. Okay, so this is our topic, effective job interview. Okay. Now, the very first question that we would like to ask is this one. How do you know our company and how much do you know about it? Now, this is a good question. Why? Because it helps us to know her level of enthusiasm in joining our company. If the applicant is enthusiastic, then she or he would give a long answer. The applicant would give an answer like, oh, I searched in Google and I learned something about the company. Then I asked my colleagues, I asked my friends about your company, and I learned more and more. Yeah, so that shows that the applicant is enthusiastic about joining our company. If he or she just answers like this, well, because a friend suggested the company to me, that's it. Now it's not a sign of being enthusiastic. Yeah, maybe he or she is less enthusiastic. Maybe he is the applicant is having or considering some other companies, and our company is just one of the many companies that the applicant is considering. In other words, the applicant is not very seriously considering joining the company, and that is not a good sign, of course. Okay, so that's the first one. The simple question: how do you know our company, and how much do you know about it? Okay, now the second question is this one: what can you contribute to the development of this company? Or a shorter form, a shorter question will be, why should we hire you? Why should we hire you? Yeah. Now, why do we need to ask this question? It's just because we want to know her current capacity of ability. We want to know whether he or she has the potential to be employed, to do the tasks once he or she is hired. Okay, so this kind of question is effective because when he or she answers, then we can measure whether this person is suitable for the task that we are going to give him or to give her. Yeah. Second one is that we want to know her level of confidence. If she answers confidently, then we can be sure that actually she has a very high confidence in her ability, and that is a good sign for hiring. We can consider the applicant seriously because he or she seems to be confident in her ability, in her current ability, on her or her level of competence. Yeah, so this is important. The third one is that we want to know how well the applicant predicts the future development of our company. Somehow, through this question, we can know whether the applicant has predicted the company's future. The better he predicts, the more accurate and the more detailed his or her answer would be. So we can infer whether he or she has read the current development, and then he could predict the company's future somehow. And then he or she could tell how they would contribute to the development in the future. Yeah, so again, this simple question will work effectively to reveal that kind of information. Okay. Now the third one. Now, this is my favorite question. Yeah, I've been interviewing people from time to time, and this is always one of the questions that I ask them. Yeah. So the question is, tell me about the challenging or difficult project in the past and how you handled that. How you handled that difficult project. Yeah. So why is this question important? Because it can help us identify several things. That is this one. So we would like to know how much the applicant was involved in the project. If the applicant could give a detailed answer, the more detailed the answer, the better. That means that she or he was involved a lot in the project and not just a cursory or just maybe uh, did some simple things and then went away like that. But he or she really put in a lot of efforts in the project. We could know from their answers. Okay. Second one is that we somehow we can identify or we can know her or his character in a difficult situation. Now, this is important. This has got something to do with the way the character of the potential employee. Yeah, somehow we could read whether he or she is going to be good in handling a difficult situation, or probably maybe not so good because they tend to be emotional, they tend to overreact, or they tend to blame others for things that they are responsible for. Yeah. So again, through this question, we can identify this kind of information. Okay. Now, next one is this one. Now, this has got something to do with failure. Yeah. So the question goes like this: tell about the project that failed in the past and how you handled that failure. Okay. We would like to know whether the employee has this abilities. Yeah. We would like to know how much the applicant was involved in the project. So again, as in the previous question, with this question, we would like to know how much she was involved in the project. If her answer was just short and brief and not quite detailed, then we could conclude that probably she was not involved a lot in the project. Yeah. But the more detailed information that she could give, that's the better sign. That's a good sign because that means that she or he had done something significant in the project. Although eventually the project failed, but at least we know through this question that they put in a lot of effort in the project. Yeah. And the second one is that we would like to know how she dealt with failure. Yeah, and not everybody is good at coping with failure. Not everybody is good at handling failure. Yeah. From their answers, we could know whether they learn some lessons from the failure, they introspect on the failure, they reflect back on the failure, and somehow they make a promise to be better in the future, or they are committed to improving themselves. Yeah. So uh, do they do those kinds of things, or do they do like the picture here? Yeah. Do they come under stress? Do they feel a lot of stress? Do they stop um, putting in a lot of effort? Do they stop working? Do they stop doing better because they are desperate? Yeah. Do they fall into depression? You know, this is worse. Yeah. Do they feel sad for a long time, not being able to move on to the next task? Yeah. So these are all bad signs. If you notice this in a potential employee, then you should be cautious because this employee probably is not very good in handling difficult tasks and also handling failure. Okay. Yeah. So those are 4 questions that will effectively reveal a lot about the potential applicant. Good luck for your interview. See you again in my next episode.